The sun was barely up on a chilly April morning in 2024, painting the hills of Willow Creek, Montana, in soft pinks and oranges. I, Tom Harper, stood on my porch, clutching my coffee mug, expecting nothing more than the quiet rustle of my ranch's cottonwood trees. My wife, Emily, had passed 2 years ago from leukemia, and this ranch our dream was all I had left of her. I was still figuring out how to manage the place alone, fumbling through taxes and repairs, when I stepped outside and nearly dropped my mug. My front yard looked like a festival had exploded overnight. White tents, buffet tables with crisp linens, and a 20-foot banner screaming, "Welcome Willow Creek Realtors Summit." 100 cars lined my fence, and at least 150 strangers were milling about, snapping photos and setting up like they owned my land. Leading the charge was Linda Carter, our HOA president, striding toward me with a clipboard and a smile that could curdle milk. "Morning, Tom," she chirped, as if turning my property into a circus at 6 a.m. was perfectly normal. "I hope you saw our emails about today's event. Your ranch is the perfect backdrop for our community showcase." I stood there in my flannel pajamas, steam rising from my untouched coffee, trying to process her words. "Emails. I hadn't agreed to this." "Linda," I said, keeping my voice steady despite the rage bubbling inside. "I didn't get any emails, and I sure as hell didn't approve this. Get these people off my property." Her smile widened, but it wasn't friendly. "Oh, Tom, we sent 3 confirmations over the past 2 weeks. We've got 150 guests, catering, even media coverage. You're not going to ruin a community event over a little mix-up, are you?" That's when it hit me. She wasn't confused or sorry. She was daring me to challenge her. Since Emily's death, I'd been barely holding it together, drowning in grief and paperwork she used to handle effortlessly. But this was wrong, and I knew it. I locked eyes with her, marched to my gate Emily and I had installed it during happier times and slapped on the heavy padlock. Then I called the sheriff. By 6:45, Deputy Clara Evans pulled up, but instead of clearing the crowd, she studied a survey map Linda handed her, her face shifting from neutral to concerned. "Mr. Harper," she said, her tone heavy, "this map suggests your fence might be on community easement land, and there are legal filings from 3 days ago. Did you know about this?" My stomach dropped. 3 days ago. Legal filings. I'd bought this ranch right after Emily's death, desperate for a fresh start in a place we'd dreamed of. The seller seemed honest, but I was so broken then. I didn't double-check the boundaries. Now, Linda's smug grin told me she'd been waiting for this moment. Before I could demand answers, my neighbor Mike Larson jogged over, his usual easygoing vibe replaced by worry. "Tom, this doesn't look like something you'd sign off on without telling me." Thank God for Mike, the one person who'd kept me grounded since I moved here. He turned to Linda. "Legit events don't happen without clear owner consent." Tom would have mentioned hosting a Realtors convention. That's when I lost it. Seeing a photographer using Emily's rose garden as a backdrop for promo shots. I shouted, "Everyone off my land. Now." I called the sheriff again, but the crowd didn't budge. Worse, some kid with a phone started filming me, and within hours, a viral video painted me as the unhinged neighbor who locked out a wholesome community event. Comments called me selfish, a bad neighbor, oblivious to community spirit. Nobody mentioned I'd never agreed to host this chaos. By 8 a.m., a surveyor in a neon vest confirmed my worst fears. My fence was 8 feet over the easement line. A $12 000 fix with $300 daily fines if I didn't act fast. Linda stood there, practically glowing with satisfaction, checking her phone like she was waiting for a victory text. Mike pulled me aside. Tom, she's not surprised by this. Normal people don't act this calm about a neighbor's boundary mess. That's when it clicked. This wasn't a mix-up. The event, the survey, the legal filings, they were planned. But by who? And why now? As the day unraveled, the pieces got uglier. Mike dug up event contracts listing my ranch as the venue, signed months ago, without my knowledge. My lawyer warned that the fines and corrections could wipe out my savings. $12,000 was my emergency fund for ranch upkeep. Then a text from an unknown number froze my blood. Stop digging into the survey timing. Emily couldn't shield you forever. Some secrets died with her. My hands shook as I showed Mike. Who knew enough about Emily to weaponize her memory? She'd been gone 2 years. Yet someone was using her to scare me. At noon, an emergency HOA meeting turned Willow Creek into a war zone. Neighbors split into 2 camps, those backing my property rights and those demanding community access. A fundraiser for my legal defense raised $6,000 in hours. But the opposition's social media group swelled to 1,000, branding me a selfish loner. Linda lost it when a neighbor, Mrs. Evelyn Brooks, a sharp 80-year-old who'd lived here forever, called her out for snooping into my finances and Emily's medical bills. Community oversight. Evelyn snapped. You asked the mail carrier about Tom's mortgage payments. Linda's clipboard hit the ground, her composure cracking. Then came Paul Whitaker, a slick developer in a tailored suit, striding into the meeting with a leather portfolio. Mr. Harper, he said, I can solve this. I'll buy your ranch for $35,000 above market, cover the fence costs, and resolve the easement. His timing was too perfect, his offer too polished. Mike whispered, how does he know the exact cost of your fence fix? This was confirmed hours ago. My gut screamed setup. Paul's grandmother, he claimed, grew up on this land in the 1930s, was dying of cancer, and wanted to see her childhood home one last time. His voice broke as he showed me faded photos of a little girl in fields that matched my pasture. I believed his pain, but not his motives. That night, a note under my mailbox changed everything. Emily knew they'd come for the ranch. Check the old pine tree behind your barn tonight. Come alone. Trust no one. Not even Mike. A friend. My heart raced. Why not trust Mike? My only ally. At midnight, I dug beneath the pine, finding a metal box with Emily's handwriting. Her letter revealed Mike's betrayal. He'd been feeding Paul info on my grief and finances for months, even before her death. Photos showed Mike shaking hands with Paul weeks before Emily passed. But Emily had prepared a defense, $15,000 in a secret fund, legal strategies, and evidence of Paul's predatory tactics targeting widows and the elderly across Montana. The next morning, a woman named Rachel Klein arrived, claiming to be from the county assessor's office. I whispered Emily's code word, Sparrow, and she nodded. Emily didn't just save your ranch, Tom. She exposed a criminal network. Rachel revealed Mike was coming with deputies to arrest me on trumped-up charges to force a sale. Her plan, let them arrest me, then unveil Emily's evidence at the station. I packed her briefcase with the real documents, keeping decoys for Mike, who was still pretending to help while snapping photos for Paul. Friday's HOA meeting was electric. I stood before a packed room, presenting Emily's timeline, Linda's gambling debts, $90. 000. Her meetings with Paul 8 months prior. And their plan to exploit my grief. The room gasped as I showed photos of their coordination. Linda broke down, sobbing. I owed loan sharks. They threatened my kids. Paul promised to clear it if I got Tom to sell. The crowd erupted, demanding justice. Paul swaggered in, claiming a misunderstanding. But I hit back with Emily's evidence: environmental violations, fraud, elder abuse across 3 counties. Then Mike arrived with deputies, expecting to cuff me. Instead, Rachel presented proof of his role in Paul's network. Deputy Evans arrested Mike for conspiracy, his face pale as he screamed, "Ask about the barn fire." Tom, Emily wasn't who you think. Rachel clarified, Emily burned evidence to protect manipulated victims, not criminals. The final bombshell came under the pine tree. Rachel removed her makeup, revealing she was Emily's twin, Laura. Emily was a federal informant. She said, "She used your ranch as bait to catch Paul's network. Her love for you was real, but her mission was bigger." My wife had lived a double life, protecting families from predators like Paul, who now faced prosecution. The ranch was mine. Fines waived, and the community rallied, creating protections for vulnerable homeowners. I became an advocate, traveling to help others fight similar scams, honoring Emily's legacy. 6 months later, in a Colorado hotel, I'm helping another community expose fraud. Emily's love saved more than our ranch. It built a shield for families nationwide. Every sunrise reminds me to become the protector she knew I could be. But questions linger. Did Emily's secrets justify her deception? Should I have sold to Paul for his grandmother's dying wish? What would you do if your loved one hid a double life to protect you? Comment below, like, and subscribe for more stories that unravel the truth behind the lies.